In the heart of Rouen, amidst a sea of faces both scornful and sympathetic, stood a young woman, bound to a stake. The year was 1431, and history was about to witness a moment that would echo through the ages. How does a flame extinguished over 5 centuries ago still burn in the hearts of millions? How does the memory of a peasant girl from Domremy ignite passions and inspire movements long after her death? In a world where voices like hers are often silenced, Joan of Arc's story blazes a trail of light, undiminished by the passage of time. She was not merely a martyr or a saint, but a symbol of unyielding faith, courage in the face of overwhelming adversity, and the eternal quest for justice. This is the tale of Joan of Arc, the maiden who became a warrior, a leader who became a legend, and a life that became an eternal flame. Join us as we journey through the life of Joan of Arc, whose spirit and legacy refused to be extinguished. Through her story we discover not just the power of one young woman's faith and determination, but the enduring light she casts on the world, challenging us to carry her torch in our own battles, in our own time. Joan of Arc, often called the Maid of Orléans, stands out as one of the historical record's most intriguing and mysterious personalities. Born into a world ravaged by the 100 Years' War conflicts, her extraordinary life story is a testament to the power of faith and conviction. As a teenager, she claimed to have received visions instructing her to support Charles VII and recover France from English domination. Her subsequent rise from a humble peasant girl to a military leader who would alter the war's course is a narrative of courage, determination, and divine inspiration. Canonized as a saint in 1920, Joan's legacy transcends time, embodying the ideals of bravery and patriotism. Her story, marked by the miraculous and the tragic, continues to inspire and intrigue as a powerful symbol of resilience and faith against impossible odds. In 1412, Joan of Arc entered the world in Domremy, a small village in northeastern France. Her early life was shaped by the 100 Years' War, a protracted series of conflicts between England and France that centered around the French throne succession. Joan was the daughter of Jacques d'Arc and Isabelle Romay, a devoutly religious family of peasants. Despite the turmoil, her childhood was relatively peaceful and normal. From a young age, Joan was deeply holy, spending much of her time in prayer and at the local church. The defining moments of Joan's early years were the visions she began experiencing at the age of 13. She claimed to see and hear several saints, including St. Michael, St. Catherine, and St. Margaret, who told her that God had chosen her to lead France to victory against the English and ensure the coronation of Charles VII, the Dauphin of France. These visions and the divine mission they imparted would propel Joan from her humble beginnings to the forefront of French history. Despite the skepticism she faced, Joan's conviction in her divine mission was unwavering. Her faith and determination would soon lead her to seek an audience with the Dauphin, setting the stage for a remarkable journey from obscurity to legendary heroism. Joan's early life, marked by purity and simplicity, belied the extraordinary path she was destined to follow, demonstrating the profound impact an individual's faith and conviction can have on history. The call to arms that Joan of Arc experienced was as sudden as it was profound. Her heavenly visions provided spiritual guidance and a clear directive to take an active role in the liberation of France. Determined to fulfill this divine mandate, Joan embarked on a journey that would lead her from the obscurity of her village to the royal court of Charles VII. At 16, she made her way to Vaucouleurs, seeking an audience with Robert de Baudricourt, the local garrison commander, to convey her mission and request assistance to reach the Dauphin. Joan's persistence and unwavering faith eventually convinced him, despite initial rejection and mockery. Dressed in men's clothing for her safety, a decision that would later become controversial, she was provided with a small escort. She travelled treacherously across enemy-occupied France to Chinon, where Charles VII resided. The meeting between Joan and Charles VII marked a turning point. Despite testing her authenticity in various ways, including disguising himself among his courtiers, Charles was ultimately persuaded by Joan's conviction and detailed recounting of a private prayer he had made to God for France's salvation. Joan's call to arms was not merely a personal crusade, but a pivotal moment in French history. It signified the intersection of faith, politics, and war, illustrating how an individual's belief and determination could sway the course of national events. This section of Joan's life showcases her transition from a peasant girl to a recognised figure in the French resistance against English domination, setting the stage for her active participation in the military campaigns, defining her legacy. Joan's involvement in the military campaigns of the Hundred Years' War marked a dramatic shift in the conflict's dynamics. Upon gaining the trust and support of Charles VII, Joan was equipped with armour, a horse, and a banner bearing the name Jesus Maria. In April 1429, she arrived at the besieged city of Orléans, the site of her first significant military engagement and a turning point in the war. The siege of Orléans had been a prolonged and demoralising endeavour for the French, but Joan's arrival brought the French troops a renewed sense of hope and determination. Despite having no formal military training, Joan displayed an innate leadership ability, strategic insight. She inspired the soldiers with her bravery, leading from the front and participating in crucial battles. Under her guidance, the French forces achieved a significant victory, lifting the siege of Orléans just 9 days after her arrival. Joan's military campaign did not end with Orléans. She led several successful operations, including liberating other besieged cities and the decisive victory at Patay, further eroding English control over French territories. Her strategic successes were not solely due to her military prowess, but also her ability to inspire and unify the French forces under a common cause. Joan believed her victories were a direct result of divine will, further bolstering her troops' morale and conviction. However, Joan's military career was not without its challenges. Her bold tactics and disregard for traditional military hierarchies occasionally led to tension with French commanders. Moreover, her insistence on pressing the attack and her vision for the war's conduct sometimes clashed with the more cautious plans preferred by the French nobility and military leaders. The crowning achievement of her military career came in July 1429, when she stood at Charles VII's side in Rheims during his coronation, an event she had envisioned as part of her divine mission. This ceremony legitimised Charles' claim to the throne and symbolised the reinvigoration of French national identity and unity. Joan's military campaign showcased her exceptional leadership, tactical ingenuity, and the profound impact of her faith and conviction on French history. Her role in these battles cemented her legacy as a fearless warrior and a patriotic symbol, embodying the spirit of resistance and determination against overwhelming odds. The tide of fortune began to turn for Joan of Arc following her unparalleled successes on the battlefield. In May 1430, during an attempt to lift the siege of Compiègne, Joan was captured by Burgundian forces allied with the English. Her capture marked the beginning of a new and grim chapter in her life, shifting the battle from the fields to the courtroom. The English, viewing Joan as a significant threat to their claims in France, were determined to discredit and eliminate her. Consequently, she was sold to the English and held in various prisons, where she faced harsh conditions and repeated attempts to break her spirit. Joan's trial for heresy and witchcraft began in January 1431 in Rouen, the seat of English power in occupied France. The problem was presided over by Bishop Pierre Cauchon, a pro-English cleric who sought to prove Joan's visions and military successes were the results of witchcraft rather than divine inspiration. The proceedings were heavily biased, with Joan being denied legal counsel and subjected to rigorous and often trick questions designed to confuse and incriminate her. Despite the odds stacked against her, Joan displayed remarkable composure and wit during her trial. She defended herself eloquently, insisting on the divine origin of her visions and mission. Her answers often frustrated her accusers who could not break her resolve or conclusively prove her guilt. However, the political motives behind the trial ensnared its outcome was predetermined. After months of interrogation, Joan was convicted of heresy, primarily based on the charge of cross-dressing, a practice she had adopted for her safety and which she claimed was divinely ordained. Without a doubt, Joan of Arc met her tragic end by being burned at the stake in Rouen Old Market Square on May 30th, 1431. She was just 19 years old. Witnesses reported that she remained devout and composed to the end, calling out the name of Jesus as the flames consumed her. Her execution was meant to erase her influence and discredit her cause, but it had the opposite effect, galvanizing the French and immortalizing Joan as a martyr. The execution of Joan of Arc did not quell her legacy. Instead, it amplified it. In the years following her death, the tide of the 100 Years' War turned decisively in favour of the French, culminating in their victory in 1453. Joan's martyrdom symbolised French unity and resistance against foreign domination. In 1456, a posthumous retrial ordered by Pope Calixtus III examined the original trial's proceedings and declared Joan innocent of all charges and denouncing the initial trial as unjust. Joan's path to sainthood began centuries after her death, reflecting her enduring legacy as a figure of faith, courage, and national identity. In 1909, she was beatified for her incredible contributions to society, and in 1920, the Roman Catholic Church recognized her as a saint for her unwavering faith and dedication to serving others. Her life serves as a shining example of selflessness and devotion, inspiring countless individuals to follow in her footsteps and positively impact the world. Today, Saint Joan of Arc stands as a symbol of bravery, conviction, and the power of faith to inspire change. She is celebrated as a national heroine of France and a patron saint of soldiers and of France itself. Her life and legacy continue to inspire literature, art, and popular culture, a testament to her profound impact on human history. The legacy of Joan of Arc is timeless, transcending the centuries to inspire generations with her story of courage, faith, and unwavering determination. As a young woman who rose from obscurity to lead her nation in its darkest hour, Joan embodies the potential for extraordinary impact regardless of one's origins. Her canonization as a saint and role as a national heroine of France cement her status as an enduring symbol of resilience and patriotism. Joan's life reminds us of the power of conviction and the indomitable spirit of those who dare to dream and fight for their beliefs. As we reflect on Joan of Arc's journey, we recognise that the flame of her spirit was not extinguished at the stake. Instead, it ignited a fire that has spread across centuries, kindling hope, courage, and action in the hearts of those who follow in her footsteps. Joan of Arc, the eternal flame that never died, continues to inspire us to live with integrity, to fight for justice, and to carry forth the torch of our convictions. Her life teaches us that ideals and courage, like flames, can defy the darkness and endure through time. So let's embrace the light of Joan's legacy, for in its glow we find the strength to face our own battles, to stand for what is right, and to remember that, like Joan's, our flames have the power to illuminate the world.